What's up, everyone? This is Vinnie Rodriguez, 8-Figure Vision, coming to you with a special edition today of our Vast Book series. I'm here to share with you a very near and dear to my heart book. It's grown near and dear to my heart very quickly. This book, I read another version of it when I was younger, when I was in high school. My mentor had given me the book, and you'll know it immediately when I'm talking about when you view the title. The book is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, when I was young, I was given a book by my mentor. It was called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers. Many of you probably have read it. Well, this book, over 25 million copies sold worldwide by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is now, it's a landmark book for sure. This is one of the books that I say is probably a pillar in literature and something that every individual needs to have in their shelf. I give this book an 8 out of 8, guys. I'll tell you just from the jump before we get into the subject matter. So let's get into it. What are the 7 habits of highly effective people? Well, the 7 habits are, number 1, and it was very well written. This book, I mean, it's just, this book is a beauty. The first, so I'll go over all 7 with you guys, but I'm not gonna go into too much detail. There's a lot of activities and exercises. There's a summary within each page, within each chapter of this book, where you can really start to put together your mission, your vision, your purpose, and he really goes in with this project, with this book. So it's divided into parts, but really, first of all, we got to look at our paradigm, right? He talks about a paradigm shift, right? This is over time in this millennia that we live in now, mankind has evolved from, really a patient, well-disciplined, principle-based lifestyle and philosophy to what is now, oftentimes what we view as get rich quick, microwave results, want everything now, instantaneous, right? And the author has a good point. I mean, we really fell off. I mean, we have, and this is the masses, right? We're talking about the majority of people, the public, right? They fall victim, they fall prey to the instantaneous communication and the growth, right, of just so much that's out there, But there are people out there who still apply the universal principles, which is what he speaks of. It's really the former paradigm back then, when we didn't follow personalities. We followed things that were just. We followed morals and principles. We did things because we thought that they were right? And that was something that was instilled in the family. Once media came out, it sort of changed things, right? So really, this is a principle-based book, a principle-based actionable book, right? And how do you put it together step by step? Well, right, habit 1 is be proactive. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Habit 3, think first things first. Habit 4, think win-win. Habit 5 is seek first to understand. Habit 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Habit 6 is synergize. And lastly, habit 7 is sharpen the saw. Now, all of these habits are interdependent of one another, and they fall into one another. They build upon one another, right? So be proactive is the first part of this entire practice, right? So being proactive means, what kind of initiative, what kind of ideas and actions are you taking now? right? Are you being reactive to a situation, or are you being proactive? And part of being proactive is you calling into existence that you want, right? Is you stepping up for things, or you preparing the night before, right? You ironing your shirt the night before you have the interview, instead of the morning where, oh, now, you know, maybe other things get in the way in the morning, and next thing you know, you're walking out the door with a wrinkled shirt to go to your interview. You know, so being proactive is also largely has, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with being prepared. It's really going in with, you know, creating your personal vision. What is it that you're really here for? If you know what you're really here for, if you let that dream pull you, you let it just grab you, then it's going to take you where you need to go. You won't steer away, you won't get distracted, you'll stay focused, right? Now, but part of the vision is also knowing where you're going. And where you're going, we're talking about, think of the last day of your last breath on this planet. What does that look like to you? Right? Who's there with you? Where do you view yourself in that moment, in your last breaths, right? What are people gonna say about you when you're gone? Build that end game, build that end goal, right? And that's gonna pull you just as much as your vision. Your vision and your end game are gonna pull each other together. It's like putting your magnets together, right? Next is put first things first, right? Personal management, right? What does your schedule look like? Does your schedule run you? Do you find yourself busy, always running to work? Or do you find yourself already there before your boss even gets there? Do you find yourself, really checking off most of the things on your to-do list? If you do, then that means that you own your schedule. It doesn't own you. And that's very important, right? So I feel, in my experience, there are certain parts of my activity, certain parts of my day that have more of a say on me, that I feel like I'm chasing, right? Those are the areas that through this book, that I've learned to identify and now say, all right, here are some areas I can work on as far as really strengthening myself, make sure that I take control of the things that happen in my life. If you have control of the things that happen in your life, then you will most likely guarantee success for your vision, and your end game will look that much more clearly. So, put first things first. Next thing is think win-win. Now, when I saw this, I kind of had to really think about this a little bit more, because think win-win, right? What are the alternatives to thinking win-win? You could think win-lose, right? I'll win at their expense. I'd rather them lose so that I can end up getting all the fame and the glory and the winning. Or you can do lose-win, and you can say, hey, you know, this is not that important to me right now. I'd rather this person just kind of go with it, you know, and have them have their moment, have them enjoy it. You know, I'll sacrifice. Or you could just have lose-lose, to say, if I'm not gonna have it, or if they're not gonna have it, then no one's gonna have it. We all lose. Oftentimes, right? Oftentimes when people operate out of either the win-lose or the lose-win mentality, everyone loses. Everyone loses. That's the way that's in my personal experience, I view that everyone loses, because no one's really thinking about how everyone in that situation can win, right? And it's a lot easier than we think, right? Life is simple. So think win-win. Make that effort, make that stride, and you'll find, think about what can that person benefit just as much from you as well. So next is seek first to understand, then be understood, right? In order to be understood, you need someone, you need to first understand what situation you're in. You need to first understand what topic, what issue, what subject that you have in front of you. And once you have that, then you make sense of it, you interpret it, you analyze it in your mind. And once that happens, then you can finally seek to be understood, because you've proven your theory, you've proven with facts, evidence, and experience that situation is true to you. Therefore, now, if that's ever tested, right, that theory, then now you have evidence. and you can seek to be understood. That's how I see it. So don't always try to be right if you haven't proven to yourself yet that you're right. And if you don't have the facts and evidence, then go and understand everything that you can. Go ask questions. Go find the information. Once you have clarity, then the understanding part is already past us because it's already established, right? You've established a level to operate from, a foundation that everyone can work with, right? That's win-win. Next is synergize, right? What is that? Creative cooperation. Think about interdependence, right? How can I operate individually at the same time, being aware that every action that I take has a reflection or has something to do with someone else's life? If I recycle today, if I recycle that one can of soda, then how is that impacting the environment? Now that's a kind of an extreme example, but you know, that one can, if I throw it away, where does it go? It goes into the trillions and trillions of pounds of waste every year. But if I help that one person who I saw crying on the train, or I help that, or maybe, you know, I go to work 15 minutes earlier, what kind of impact would that leave on the earth? Now, also, you know, think of it the other way. What am I leaving behind? What am I now sacrificing in order to make that decision or take that action, right? So it's about creative cooperation is partly that, but it's also looking at, right, how do you work in harmony with other people, right? How do you work in cohesion with other people? Interdependence, because we all need each other for something, right? So how can we work in a way in which we're all thriving, right? In which we're all winning, in a way in which, you know, we're operating from our principles and our morals. So these are the things that creative cooperation starts to cultivate. So lastly, is sharpen the saw. It's self-renewal, right? So it's just reapplying. It's everything, implementing what you've already experienced and then going into applying it again and again and getting sharper, getting wiser, getting more knowledgeable, becoming more informed, seeking more answers, and then interpreting that into your world. So sharpen the saw, guys. These are the 6 things. You gotta, let's look at it from the inside out and the outside in. Remember, it's all about universal fundamental truths. Nothing that can be shaped or misled or misinterpreted or manipulated. There are certain universal things on this earth that we will always have, like integrity, such as freedom, such as patience, right? What are your virtues? What are your morals, right? What do you operate from? Have that conversation with yourself. Leave them in the comments below. And guys, I wholeheartedly mean this. This book is a relic, and it will continue to impact millions of people's lives. I can't wait till I come out with my book one of these days soon, and also have a similar impact as mentors such as this individual here, Stephen Covey. So guys, I'll leave you to it. I would see you on the next of our vast book series. This is Vinnie Rodriguez, also known as 8-Figure Vision, here sharing today the next in our vast book series. Talk to you on the next time. Bye.